Hey, good morning, everybody. Sarasota Tim coming to you from inside the Crusher. I'm over here in Lakewood Ranch in Sarasota, Florida, on my way over to see Fred and Rafaela this morning. But I thought I'd do a morning chat. And my beginning of the video, I kind of messed up on something, and so I'm adding this little clip in the beginning. I hope you enjoy the morning chat. Let's get going with it. Good morning, everybody. Merry Christmas to you. So I had a great night's sleep at the Hampton last night. I'm killing a little time. I've got quite a while, so I made a video driving around showing some of the Christmas decorations and the mall this morning. I haven't uploaded it yet, and I'll have some good Wi-Fi this morning over at Rafaela and Fred's house. I probably have good Wi-Fi where I'm at. I haven't checked, so I'm just kind of making these videos right now, and I hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't seen it, go back and check the one this morning when I left the Hampton Inn early and had my coffee, which is probably cold now. There's a Dunkin' Donuts right behind me. I'm going to actually go and get a coffee in there. I want another one. And I know Rafaela is going to make me all the coffee I want for breakfast this morning. It's going to be pancakes, sausage, eggs. It's going to be good. And I haven't eaten anything. I made a video at the Hampton showing that big, beautiful breakfast they have there that I had to eschew because I'm saving my appetite. But nor here or there. We're out and about. We're going to be going back to Boynton Beach a little bit later today. And I said in my morning video of the tour around the Christmas decorations in the mall area this morning that I was going to be making another video addressing yesterday's video when I was driving here from Boynton Beach. And I had a little bit of a rant or whatever. I looked at the video briefly before I uploaded it, and then I read some of the comments that were, a lot were like, hey, I can relate to this. A lot of them were more than I wanted to read, actually. Were a little concerned about me or my attitude or something, and I didn't like reading that, but, you know, people have their opinions. But I'll just say, hey, we all have a day, right? And I'm a different person today than I was yesterday. I had some annoyances in the beginning of the day because I left my credit card when I was trying to get gas at BJ's, and it was a big car wreck that I had to drive like 4 miles around the wrong way to go back home and get my credit card so I could save a penny at BJ's and buy my gas. But sometimes when I try to make these videos and I think in my mind about what to talk about, sometimes I've had a very eclectic life, and I have shared on a few videos of my history and my past and so forth. So I don't know, maybe some things were bubbling up in me that I started talking about, and then of course about dying and our lifespans and a few things that I mentioned. And you know, maybe that's not the most positive topic. I meant to make it in the respect that, you know, we don't have a lot of runway, as we always like to say, I like to say, in front of us as we do behind us if we're in our 60s, you know, according to the statistics. So, you know, you do want to make the most of your time and live and enjoy your life, and which is what I'm trying to do right now. I read some comments about that I've changed or certain things, and you know, maybe if I had one video where I wasn't maybe as positive, or I let some emotions come out in me about my life, or there were some hidden deeper things, you know, that you're psychologically reading, you know, and you're this psychologist, well, you know, possibly true, I don't know, but that doesn't mean that's how I'm going to make all my videos. I made that one, and it's going to stay up, and it's what it is. I did remove a few comments that were a little harsh, so that always has to happen almost on every video. But for the most part, if you were offended in any way, or it wasn't something that you liked, I mean, I had a comment the other day. Somebody said, hey, all these shopping videos are boring. You know, you're wearing me out on those. And I'm like, okay, well, 2 videos back, I was talking about something else. So, you know, I don't know how it's wearing you out. I'm mixing it up. Some people liked the shopping videos at the, let me turn my truck around. That sun's coming up. It's a beautiful day. It's a gorgeous day. What is it? 50 degrees. Wow. Let me pull over here facing towards this. That's that brand new Publix. It's gorgeous. And there's a Dunkin' Donuts right there. But what I just said, I don't know. I forgot. But we all have different times. And by the way, I read the comments. It's not a dirt bed. It's a dirt nap. Yes, it's the dirt nap. I said it about 10 times, and Teddy had told me the dirt nap. That's the old saying before we go to the dirt nap. So anyway, the video, if you guys would like to hear in the comments, oh, that's what I was saying. Some people were saying they like the shopping comments. Oh, I get a kick out of it. It's funny or whatever. And hey, I'm just out here to please, you know, and I'll put up anything you want. As you know, it's a show about nothing. But I do love you guys. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your continued subscription and your views. My channel is monetized. I do make a living from YouTube now. It is, it's no secret. I'm never going to sit here and tell you to the penny or all the dollars or you know, what I got in the bank, what my social security number is, and all these curiosities that some people think they need to know or have a right to know. All YouTubers that get a lot of views like I get or have a lot of subscribers like I have, and I'm small. I'm small compared to those that have, you know, all the editing and hire people to do all their videoing for them. They're like a movie star. Someone's following them around. They're making a lot of money, a lot of money. And I'm very happy and blessed and proud to have a supplemental income coming in from doing something that so many have told me is my calling, you know, that I can be encouragement to people. I have companies that say, hey, your channel's big enough, you have enough viewers, we would really like to send you some of our products, that if you would do a review on them, it would help us out in selling, and we think that you talk well, and so that's a compliment to me, and I get the product. So who's going to not, you know, and this is what I like doing. So some people were saying, hey, you know, you change, you're not a minimalist, you're just a big infomercial, or you're this or that. And some of these people are just, I don't think I can please everybody. I tried to, but like the one guy that didn't want me doing the shopping videos at Walmart, you know, you're wearing me out with those, you're boring me. Okay, well, maybe skip it, and tomorrow, later today, I put several videos up, and there's always going to be something different. And, you know, I visited my friend yesterday, and I'm showing the wonderful food she made. These are great people. I shared where I used to live. So I am on my game all the time, thinking of what would be interesting. Even when a guy made a comment about, the dude puts up videos about looking for potato chips. But guess what? I got a lot of comments from people that have actually tried to help me and tell me where they're located so I can go and get them. So now I think I'm going to be able to find my mission chips. I think that when the 2 or 3 people said they're in the international aisle, it's where all the international foods are. I didn't look. I thought, and that's true, because sometimes they put the tortillas in the bread aisle, and other times they're over in where they sell all the Mexican food, where the refried beans and the tortilla chips, and I mean not tortilla chips, the taco shells, the hard ones, and the hot sauce and all that is. I never thought about looking. I never thought about looking there. So now I hope to find my mission chips, and I invite you to buy a bag because they're darn good. I've tried them all. Doritos, Tostitos, the Santitas, which are okay, they're cheap, and but there's just something about that mission bag. They're a brown bag, looks like a paper bag. So anyway, I'm going to get them, and when I do, I'm going to make a video about it. But I hope everybody's having a great holiday season. I hope you're remembering what the season's about. I hope you're picking up, you know, what you can. I mean, I'm not telling you not to spend a lot of money, but, you know, it's the gift, it's the thought that counts. You know, if you want to give something to somebody, you know, you don't have to go out and lose all your money out of your bank and buy them a new car or a new Mac or a new iPhone or an Apple Watch or whatever. But if you've got the money, it's all relative, right? Give what you can. If it doesn't hurt you, yeah, I'd love to receive something like that. But I think that the small gifts that people gave back in the day before everything became electronic and took batteries, that it was the thought and sharing a meal together and getting together and making cookies and doing all that. And we've made videos before about how things were in the old days and how we did celebrate and traditionally, used to go and get live trees before artificial trees, and we didn't have to pay $100 for one. And just how things were different. I love reminiscing about those things. I know that my demographics and that my community are people more in my age bracket. And so we can remember those things. And it's fun to remember those things. And the world has changed. And we don't talk politics or things on this channel. I will talk religion because I am religious, or a Christian, or whatever title you want to give that. Religious is not the right word. A believer, a follower would be more to my description of what I am. And am I perfect? No. Are you? Heck no. None of us are. We're all dirty rags in the eyes of God. But we're saved by grace and through the shedding blood of Jesus Christ. And if we invite him into our heart, we have a promise that when we die one day, we will go to heaven and there'll be a much better place and have eternal life. And as much as we're trying to have a good time and do all the things that I talk about in my videos right now on earth, and we want to do that, just think of I don't know what it's going to be like, but it's going to be great. I sure hope so. And so I do pray for those. And I read some comments this morning. I know you read the comments also about people that do need prayers. And I know I have a lot of followers in my community that watch my videos. And thank you very much for your prayers and thoughts and always your kind comments that you give. And pray for those that are having a tough time right now. I had a comment this morning that was kind of touching, that they're having a tough go. And you'll see the comment in there. And reach out. Prayer does work. Prayer does work. And for the one that wrote the comment, I would say keep the faith and keep praying and keep trusting in God, because he does say that he knows all of our needs, but we're to seek him first, and all these things shall come to you. So without going too much on a religious thing, because some people, of course, in the community, and I respect you don't like or don't want to hear that part all the time. And this is not a preaching channel or a YouTube channel. I do mention it, but we'll move on. And I'll say it again. I digress. I had someone that wasn't happy about me using the word digress. That was kind of critical of me in the comments, and a few others that were like below the belt. But that's going to be on every video. And I'm going to be driving back, and we'll come up with some more content later today as I get back to Boynton Beach before dark tonight, and get back to my beautiful home. That Flagstaff, is it a Flagstaff? My microlight Forest River Flagstaff 25 FK BS, aka the Crasher. And it is so homey. I appreciate all your comments too, where a lot of you have said, I went from the wolf pup to this, and people were, oh, the wolf pup is cute. It's kind of cool, It was tiny, right? But I adapted to it. I lived in it for a year and a half. So I can live in this, right? And while it was small, it was not going to last forever for me. It couldn't last forever for anybody. I probably went as long as anybody could take it. I would have gone longer if I wasn't able to get and being blessed to have this opportunity to get the Flagstaff. But I've had a lot of comments, a lot of compliments about how homey it looks and beautiful it looks, and how I keep it, and the new comforter set and my new rugs that feel awesome on your feet, and how people are like, wow, I could live in that, without having to pay for all these property taxes and, flood insurance and HOA fees and all that. It's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal. And I do want to eventually own a sticks and bricks, a piece of property, some land, something I can build on, something I can put my Flagstaff on. But it's not yet. The economy and the market has not changed. And I'll say briefly that I do believe it's closer than further away. Others disagree. They think that it's several years away or 2 or 3 years away from the market falling, collapsing, adjusting, correcting, whatever adjective you'd like to use. But I would like to say that next year, that everything seems to me to be very unsustainable. Although, on the other side of the coin, where I'm at right now, there is no shortage of dollars. And even over in Palm Beach County, there are people crowding the stores, in the high dollar stores, driving the $100,000 cars. There are people, there's money that have moved to Florida. It's in your eyes. But I would like to think that other parts of the country, the people that are making that average income of 30 or 40 grand, that's the average. It's like 60 or 65 is the average median income for a household. So that's gross. And to take home 25% less than that and have these rents and have this fuel cost and utilities and bread cost and everything else that goes along with what we go out and spend, I just don't see how magically people aren't reporting that they're getting 25% more money from their employers. You know, wages haven't gone up. So I just don't see it sustainable for the majority, the vast majority. I say that all the time. It's the wrong word. My alarm clock went off. It's not sustainable for the vast majority of people. So I do feel the reason the housing market hasn't corrected is because baby boomers and those just don't want to sell. They are not looking to sell, make a good profit, and then go in and pay way the same price that they want for their house. They don't want to have to pay for somebody else's house and the 8%. So it's kind of a lateral move, or it won't benefit them. Most people like to make a nice profit, go into another house that's cheap and have no interest rate like we've done for years. That's why people have done so well in the real estate market. But right now there's no inventory because people are refusing to accept that their houses are overvalued, and so they don't want to sell it, and for good cause, because what are they going to buy? You know, if they don't get the big money and sold it cheap, and somebody else wants $500,000 for the house they have to go buy and have to live in something, you know, what's the point? So we're kind of stuck. But half of the houses, I understand, were purchased by these Wall Street investors, and a lot of them are finding out that these investment they made to make them Airbnbs or to make rental properties so they can make a profit, because it is a profit deal, aren't making those profits because people can't afford the rent. People don't have the discretionary spending now a lot of times to do the Airbnb. So that's suffering. So they're starting to sell those, or they're starting to actually just rent them to the locals for yearly leases. And so those houses haven't come back on the market yet. And we need a couple of million houses on the market to be for sale to kind of get the ball going. So we're in this sort of a stalemate where nobody's selling and nobody can buy. And even if you wanted to buy and somebody agreed to sell for a fortune, their $500,000 house that's only worth $100,000, you couldn't qualify. You go to the bank and the bank says, well, you only make 30, 40 grand. Your total household income is 60, 75 grand. You can't afford it. We're not loaning you the money. So again, how is all this sustainable? If the economy can't flow, if it can't roll, then something has to change, and it will, and it will. But right now, I've been very blessed, and that's why I wanted to follow up on my RV. You know, when you buy an RV for 20 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, $1 million, whatever, and for the vast, I said it right that time, for the vast majority of people that buy them and they take it out, here we go, and they go on they go to the national park, they go up to see Old Faithful, and they take their 2-week vacation, and then they got money, they do it again, they go 2 more weeks or a week. They use it 2 to 4 weeks a year. And the rest of the year, it sits in a storage lot or right beside their house because they're fortunate that the HOA doesn't care and they own enough land or whatever, and they can park it right there at their home. And wow, what a terrible investment. Because you think about what you spend. Let's say what mine costs, 40 grand. And you use it 2 weeks of the year. And the rest of the year it sits there. Man, that's a costly 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It's like the old Social Security thing. You wait for $500 more by waiting 5 more years, and you have to live to be 100 years old. I'm being facetious. You have to live to be like 80 years old or more to end up getting more money than you could by collecting your check at 62. So you buy a motorhome, you're better off just going and renting one and paying a fortune to rent it even. For the 2 weeks you're going to use it, you're a lot better off. It's like when you want to go snow skiing. People buy all this snow equipment. The whole get it. The $300 Oakley glasses, the helmet, the bibs, and all that. When they got it right there at the lift that you can rent for pennies, and then you go once in a year, but the rest of the year, because you bought $2,000 worth of ski equipment that you got sitting in your closet with the rest of your junk that you don't need, that you should sell, and just rent those kinds of things. Some things you're better off just renting instead of buying. But here's the other side of the coin. You live in Montana. You ski several times a year, every season. You own your stuff. You don't want some rental. You want to be able to grab your things. You don't want to wait in line to rent something. And you like nice stuff. You want to wear your own colors and things. That's a great value, a super deal. And you look good out there. And you're a good skier. Let's talk about the RV now. You live in your RV. You are in that thing 24/7. That is your home. That is what you're paying instead of living in a house or an apartment and paying on an RV on the side or storing it. That is a great idea. That is a great investment. That is way better than buying a house or a condo or anything right now in this market. What I'm doing is such a blessing. What I'm doing is so right, and it is so fun, and it is so cool. It doesn't matter where I park it. I'm getting, even no matter what I would have to pay, if I wanted to go out and travel constantly and not live where I'm at and pay campgrounds and RV parks, you can get some deals at certain places. They got senior memberships and things at national parks and places that, I can go and I can make video content. But I'm still living in it. I'm still getting the best value for my RV because I'm in it. But if you're not, unless you have so much disposable cash, it doesn't matter then if you lose it all, because it doesn't matter to you. And what I'm saying, you're like, I don't care, because there's millions of people that are doing that. You see these RVs and these boats and these storage lots, don't you? You've seen them. They're sitting there. They never move. Once a year. Sometimes several years go by and they don't. They just sit there and biodegrade. But a guy like me and others that are living in their RVs full time and traveling around, what a life. What a fun life. And for some people, they don't get it. They think that's low life or, living in campgrounds or going around and, I don't know. They don't, it's not their cup of tea. They want to be in a Waldorf. They want to be in a Hilton. They want to go to Europe or Paris, and everybody's got different strokes for different folks. And hey, I got nothing against that either. I really don't. But I'm easy to please. And man, from what I had to what I have now, and the value I'm getting out of it, and the blessings that I'm getting from God, the vehicle I have, the camper that I have, living in Florida, the people that I'm around, the community that I have in YouTube, the health that I'm enjoying, the give back program on my Medicare that I got and having insurance now, the amount of money I get on my Social Security and what I'm making with YouTube to supplement that, the freedom that I have. I mean, I have very little to complain about, but yet I got complaints. And maybe yesterday's video reflecting on being a little bitter or regretful of the time that, and we've all wasted time. You'd be lying if you said you haven't wasted time. You know, when I talked about relationships that I had wasted, I respect you if you've been married for 50 years or 40 years to the same one, or you only been divorced once, or you never married, or, you know, you didn't take 10 years to get out of a relationship. God bless you. You know, but many people, I've talked to many people, and I've read online, I've watched other YouTube videos. People go through these relationships. They have a trouble with their drinking. You know, they work too much, and all these things are tough on relationships. I know when I was in the car business years ago, there is no off time. You live there. It's kind of like being in the restaurant business. You live there. Now, where do you think a relationship would go if you were married or even had a boyfriend-girlfriend thing, and from morning till night, you weren't there? You didn't spend any time together. You just had a brief moment in the morning, or you came home at night, you ate something, you watched a movie together, you slept together, and you were out of there the next morning. What kind of relationship does that person that you left behind, that because you're working all the time, they're getting lonely. They want to be with someone. They want to share more in their life. And so they get a wandering eye, and somebody else comes along, and, you know, things happen. Or they just don't want any more to do with your work that you bring home with you, and your, you know, your frustrations about your job or your tough day at work. And meanwhile, they don't have anything to compare the happiness a little bit that day they had with you. The only thing they have is you're coming home and whining and complaining about your terrible day at work. So you can see how being in any business, like the restaurant business or the car business, or any of those businesses that require you to be there bell to bell, as we call it. So yes, I had some failed relationships in my past. And there was times where, you know, it was fearful. You know, you were used to something. I was younger. I didn't want, you know, to move on. And yet, you know, we stayed in this stale thing. And I was just talking about that briefly. It was about my own life and regretting how I wish I could get those years back. I wish my life was what it is now for my whole life. But that's just a fairy tale. You know, we all have to grow and work hard to get to better things. But it really is an easier life at any age you're at if you do sow good seed, if you do respect others, or if you create a relationship that you understand that it's important to have pet names and touch each other and show kindness and understand each other and do for one another and care for one another, because that's what sustains you. That's what will get you through the tough days and the tough times. But when one isn't, you know, on board with doing those kind of things, if you don't mesh, or if you're what they call in the Bible unevenly yoked, then, you know, that's going to create a problem. It might not be a problem right away, but eventually it's going to be a problem, and then it's going to end up being a dissolution, a dissolve, and then you're going to think, wow, you know, although I'm appreciative of the good times we had, what a waste that was. So, you know, I digress. And so I talked about that. I don't know, I'm driving, I'm talking, and, you know, if it wasn't the video that you're normally getting from me, I'm sorry. We'll try to keep it more cheery, and maybe I won't share as much of my personal life as maybe I was TMI, right? Too much information. Or if you'd like to hear more stories that aren't, you know, anything too private about my life, I do have some interesting stories. I really do. I'm probably different from a lot of people, and the same as a lot of people, as I've read in comments. People are like, hey, we think a lot. We're kind of like the same. I've had a lot of people tell me that. But I have got, and I'm old enough now, some stories. You got stories. Get you a YouTube channel, start sharing them. Maybe people want to hear them. It's entertaining, you know, and it's also relatable when you do hear someone and it helps you, like, you know, I done that too. I feel that way too. I went through that as well. I think it's all good. You know, it isn't all peaches and cream. It isn't all about, watching a movie that's fake and phony, and or even other YouTube channels where they're just showing you how to bake a cake. Sometimes these reality type videos are good, and these informative videos. And let me say about the information. I do know, and I'll say it one time, I do know that it isn't a one size fits all. I do know I don't include every single fact about what the rules are. I do know that it's my opinion. And I'm referring to Social Security, Medicare, insurance, whether you have it or not, reviews on products, whether you like them or not, whether I got all the statistics right. I do realize when I talk about the Social Security, I believe in what I do, and I do me, and you can do you. I put out there, a lot of people didn't know about these things, and apparently it's helped hundreds, if not thousands, that haven't even, commented to me about it. But I get hundreds that tell me that they are definitely going to collect their Social Security day one at 62. And I believe that. And when I say quit your prison job and get your free money, these are all sayings. This is all Tim. You just have to get to know me. This is my personality. I don't want to sit here and articulate like some people make videos and they're so stiff and they're just trying to appease the masses. And that was correct. But I'm just telling you because I talk me. I talk the way I talk. And I know that some people are kind of stiff and they're not even used to people. When I went around selling my coupons that I did for the auto service things, I would meet people that, were, you're coming near me. They're so afraid and they're so stiff. It's like, wow, how did you drive to work today? You're afraid of everything. Or you're offended by someone that's just expressing and talking themselves, that you have to, you couldn't say anything like that to their face, but you want to say something in comments maybe of how you were offended by that. Well, I get it. I know there's different kinds of people. And so I'll just tell you right now, I understand you. But I am me. And I really enjoy this. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's gone beyond my wildest dreams. And it's really keeping me going. And it's a new calling in my life. And I do get a lot of positive feedback from it, that from the comments in the community, that I'm not going to stop. And I'm also getting a lot of feedback from the world in regards to products, that they're discovering someone that they think can help them, with certain things. And that doesn't mean I'm going to become a review channel, but I do get offers every day. I've rejected 3 this morning. A lot of them are because they're the same thing. They saw my videos on bikes and batteries and stuff, and they want to keep sending me bikes and batteries. And I've got enough. But I do choose the top of the line stuff. Like that Blue Eddy, that is the best, man. That is good. The Jackery, those are good. That EBL I got, it's kind of more on the entry level, but it was kind of the smaller, very inexpensive price point, and it works. It works because, they can't make tires any rounder today. Whether you buy a Goodyear or a Michelin or whatever the other cheaper brands are, I know there's slightly differences, but the technology today is kind of like the phones. It's kind of like all the Japanese cars. They're all pretty good. There's some bad ones. But the technology today is all up there. And everybody's borrowing from everybody else's technology. So it's all a copycat thing anyway. So I think you're pretty safe on what couch you buy and what battery you buy, for the most part. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get another cup of coffee. It's now 8:18. I'm probably going to show up about 40 minutes from now over at Fred and Rafaela's. We're going to enjoy a good breakfast. I'll probably take a walk maybe over to the pool. I'll ask Fred if he feels like walking over there and opening the gate so we can go in, and I'll show it to you. It's a beautiful pool over there. And I just want to say, before I end the video, a little personal note to a few people. And no, it's not going to be what you think. It's good. It's good. Fred and Rafaela think the world of me. And I know a lot of you do too, that don't even know me. But I lived next door to them for 5 years. Those people are basically a representative of what my community is. I put you in the same pool as Fred and Rafaela, the salt of the earth. They mean no harm to anyone, and they're happy for anyone and their success. It's just like they don't have a mean bone in their body. Yes, they don't like certain politics. Yes, they don't like certain things. Yes, they don't like things that can change with taxes and HOA fees. And yes, they're normal people. But in their hearts, their makeup, if I could only be half as a good a person as these people are. And what I wanted to say to the other people out there was you in my community. And I know they have relatives, their sons and daughters that watch me. And they were excited about them seeing the video of her making dinner and her bolognese sauce with the rigatoni last night. And they were talking about you guys, her kids, that they were excited about you seeing the video, and Fred was. But to you out there that I don't know, it's just, from your comments in my community, I love you guys. I really, really, really appreciate those kind comments that you give and your support for me. And you're just like them. And talking to them last night, they charged my battery. I got a lithium battery in here right now. It is so charged. So if I did have a downer video yesterday on the way over there until I got with them, or if I did say something that was, you read something into it, I'm good now because I've been around good people. And if you hang out in a crap house long enough, you're going to come out stinking. And maybe I was listening and hanging out in the wrong places prior to leaving Boynton Beach, and maybe it was on me. But I've shook it off. I've shook it off. And I'm thinking positive. And I'm praying for you to be positive. And I want you to have the merriest of Christmas. And I want you to remember what it's about. And I want you to go out and be kind today and try to fill up your lithium battery and think on good things. And now I'm going to go back and whatever little bit of discharge I got, which was very little, I'm going to go fill it up again when I get around these magnificent people and spend these last valuable hours until the next time that I see them. And I hope and pray I will. But nobody's promised tomorrow. So we always want to say that today is the day to crush it.